Today on Country Pocket, we have one of my all time favorite songwriters and former stray bird, Maya Vitry. Welcome to the show again, Maya.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Trevor.
Of course, I always have to go back to my favorites. And this album, Violet Light, is a great album. Very signature Maya Vitry, in that just like some of your best work, like Go Tell a Bird,
Mm.
you go to the natural world to explain human nature. And we're going to touch on that in two songs. But the first one, I guess today's going to be a bit of a harsh interview because we talk a lot about trauma, but it's also healing. Um, First one I wanted to talk about is called "I Don't Ask Trees." Tell me about that one, and perhaps more importantly for me and my audience, but mostly me, how have you learned to be so understanding of your past self?
Um, I mean, it's just honestly like an ongoing process. I feel like I don't know that I have learned to be understanding. I think it's sometimes I'm writing when I'm writing that honestly and I'm writing something like that, it's almost like it's an aspiration rather than something that I've actually achieved. It's always yeah, I'm just always trying to I guess just like incorporate new perspectives and I do find like so much solace and perspective like in nature, in the cycles of nature, in the rhythms of the seasons. Even like, I grew up in Pennsylvania. There's four seasons, like the seasons of like bare trees and the seasons of the buds coming, opening up in the spring, and then the summer where you just like you forget what it's like to ever be cold. You're just like in humid, soupy, like August air and all the different things. I think I try to look to that and then be like, okay, well, if these seasons are happening out there, like maybe like there could be seasons happening for me too, or like in with myself or with other people, and all of that, because so much of human life is like super artificial too. Like it's tough what we ask of ourselves and the productivity we ask of ourselves, and that kind of are the systems we live in. It demands so much of us, and so we have to kind of, for me, I have to look somewhere for to kind of like cope and understand what's going on, like just as like a human animal being like in the world, and I look to nature to kind of try to understand myself as part of nature.
Human animal being. I really like that line. So when you're coming up with these songs, you're looking first at how nature works and then sort of exploring what that would mean for you as a human animal being.
I mean, I don't know that I think that's just like part of my personal perspective on like the my outlook on the world is sort of through nature, like as if it's a companion to me or something, or like I grew up just playing outside. Like I grew up running around on 7 acres in Pennsylvania like all summer long. When I wasn't in school, I was just outside, like like feeling so connected to like plants and animals, and like watching animals, and watching an owl, or one time my dad cut, he had to like cut down some branches on this tree that were like too low. He couldn't like drive his tractor under the tree anymore, and he cut this branch that was like my favorite branch and so I like dragged the branch up like into the woods, and I would go and sit with this branch like I was, like this is the kid, I don't know, just growing up on some land in Pennsylvania. That was my way of being 10 years old.
Yeah, growing up on Long Island, you get four seasons. You most certainly do, but not many people get 7 acres.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with a lot of space to just be barefoot and get bee stings, and like just have encounters with nature, and just the, I guess the, yeah, it's just been a place of like a place of inspiration. And so when I am writing, I think like I've always been drawn to writers and poets and like other people who have like used who have kind of like found a way to explore and understand life like through that as well. And so I think I'm really influenced by that. um like I was just thinking about I think you're mentioning we might like kind of bring up another song or poem, and like Mary Oliver is like one of my favorite poets. And just just reading. I don't know. It's almost like I can't separate it. I guess I could try. Maybe I have songs that aren't about nature or don't use any of those metaphors. I probably do, but
There are a few of
maybe.
them. They're
But I don't
certainly
know.
not.
Yeah,
They're
I don't
certainly
know.
not the majority of your catalog.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just like the way that I see. I guess it's just like the way I see the world. It's more through that lens than through um, like a city.
So, um, coming up to the next song that I'm going to talk about with you, tell me about your dog.
Oh yeah. So this the dog that inspired like kind of got me writing this song Dogs Run On was Sylvie, who is the black lab that my parents had. She passed away. It was November, the first November of the pandemic, and I didn't know the last time I saw Sylvie. I didn't know that I wouldn't see her again because she had a very aggressive, quick cancer, and my parents just let her live out her life. And she was in my mom's arms at the very end, and just like died in the sunlight. But Sylvie was just this really sweet dog, and we also had a black lab that I grew up with named Georgia, and both of these dogs are sort of like they are the inspiration, both of them, behind this song. Georgia was my like dog companion since I was 10, and I grew up the oldest of four kids, and then when I was 10 years old, and my parents let us get a dog, and I got to pick Georgia out. And Georgia was like a fifth kid. Like we played with her, running around out in the fields and stuff. And she Georgia wouldn't be on a leash. She wouldn't, she didn't go anywhere. She was just like farm dog. She didn't go, we weren't like taking her for walks or anything. She was just her own like free dog. She just like, and she'd just sleep on the porch or hang out in the porch. Like if we went out of town for a week, somebody could just come by and feed her, and she'd just lay on the porch and hang out. She didn't have to be in any kind of, she didn't have to be in the house or in a crate or whatever. She just was. She knew her boundaries. We always said she knew where our field ended and where our yard ended, and like where the soybean and cornfields or whatever started from the neighbors' farms. So um, she Georgia and Sylvie are in that song, and I think just like having the opportunity to grow up and having the opportunity to then see my parents like nurture a second dog, and form this bond with a second dog like after all their kids had moved out of the house. And it's like it's just this connection of with the natural world, or with like something that's not human. And the senses, like the awareness that dogs have, the love, and that they just I remember like if I felt sick at all, like Georgia or Sylvie would just like come right over, just lay her head like right on your leg or on your belly, and they just like sense so much about how you are, and they give so much, and like they're so curious, and like so many different personalities. And I I just wanted to honor that, and like taking a dog like into your life, bringing a dog into your life is like you're likely going to have to say goodbye to them at some point. It's like a brief and dynamic life cycle. And so it ends up being like a chapter of our lives, but it's like they lived this whole beautiful dog life, and um, yeah, I just wanted to honor that. Sylvie and Georgia were part of our family.
Yeah, you have a couple female dogs in the song. I've had a couple of male cats, so
Mm-hmm.
a little bit opposite. But they are very much a part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
My first one, Prince, was not necessarily interested in the family so much as he was my cat.
Yeah.
He wanted to just hang out with me in my room and give me hugs, and then once we were done, literally like hugging when I got home, and he absorbed all my sadness, he would go sit right on the windowsill above me, and we would just hang out. And unfortunately, his kidneys shut down, and
Mm.
it was fairly quick. But I I still miss him. I still remember those hugs. I have a new cat, Morrow, who um he gives his own version of hugs. He plops down on your chest and shoves his forehead onto your lips, which is his way of saying, "Now you kiss me." Um, he's sitting right over there, listening in on the interview. Listen, he
Aw.
follows me everywhere. A closed bathroom door is an emotional crisis, and it's just remarkable how we take this other species into the house and they're like, okay, I'm your child now, and I will be
Mm-hmm.
until the day I die.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Prince knew his boundaries. Morrow's just like, ooh, what's over there?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
love seeing the different personalities. I dog sit quite a bit in Nashville where I live now also. For, friends if they go out of town and they need some help watching their dogs while they're gone. I've done quite a bit of that, so it's it's like yeah, you just get to know this other species a little bit.
are you doing them a favor or are they doing you a favor?
Oh, it's always a little of both. It's always a little of both. I always appreciate it because it's kind of like a retreat, to be in another house. No matter what you're doing there, it's just like, wow, this is cool. New space, new kitchen to cook in. That's fun. And I'm definitely doing them a favor to, have somebody trusted to, with their pets in their house. But I enjoy being able to walk the dogs and throw sticks for the dogs.
I don't know if I could cat or dog sit because Morrow would kick my butt if he found out I was cheating on him.
Yeah, and I don't have a dog, so we have 5 chickens right now. That's our other species that we've got going on, but they
Are
don't live in
they
the
quite
house.
as friendly? Do they have their own personalities or?
They definitely have their own personalities. Yeah, and they definitely have a pecking order, and there's a lot of politics in the coop.
Ugh.
Yeah, they've got their own thing, but they're not cuddly pets. I wish they were. We've tried, but
I would try
they are
too,
not.
and it wouldn't go well, but I would try.
No, no, it's a little disappointing to try to bond with a chicken.
Anyway, let's hear some really positive. It's a really positive and sweet song about
Mm,
a dog, even though it really references the passing. It's a happy song.
it is. It is, I think, because it's like, what are they? I don't know. There's all these sayings about like, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Things like that. That's kind of, it's like we have like to life is for loving other beings, other each other and ourselves and creatures and dogs, and we've got to take that leap, and even if we have to even if we have to lose eventually.
All right, let's hear dogs run on, and we'll be right back.